my name's Louise Clark, and today I want to try and add on to the last video I made, which was on breaking no speak programming. But I know that it's a massive area, and I tried to squeeze it into a little bit of time. I did cover in that silencing, but I didn't cover it properly, really, I don't feel, and there's other aspects to it that I feel you need to have. I see nowadays you've got therapists who specialise in DID, and they're not talking about these things. So if I don't really talk about them, I don't know where they're going to get spoken of. I know Svarley spoke of accessing, but I don't know anyone else who's really speaking of accessing and reporting alters. And without looking at reporting alters and accessing, you're just in an illusion that you're free. Because you can deprogram all you like, but until you know who you report to, who accesses you, what you're used for, you will continue to be reporting, accessed and used. There's other people that try to make it out that it's like, oh, it's just small little groups, small little satanic groups, small little groups here, small little groups there. But it's not. It's Masonic groups, Masonic, I don't know what you'd call them, lodges, and they're all over the world, and they're hierarchical in nature, so wherever you go in the world there will be a Masonic lodge. Some places are more than others. I mean, I'm in London, I think there's one just down the road where there is. But it's like, I look at where can I move to get away from it all. But even like I thought, oh, Brighton, 44 lodges in Brighton. So it's like, even though people want to make it like small pockets, it's not. It's a network. It's a network. It's like I suppose they call it a fraternity or something like that. Nice word. But it's a network that, and then all the gang stalking is done for them. You know, it's like everyone's working on their behalf. So I want to make that clear, that it's a network that's global. So it's not like people tell you, oh, move, leave the country. It doesn't really matter what country you go to, because they'll be in that country too. I mean, it might be more in one area than another, but if they want to access you, then they will access you, because they have the codes to access you. And people are making so small of trauma-based mind control nowadays. It's really getting on my nerves, because they're trying to sort of palm it off as like, oh, it's because you had a traumatic childhood. It's not. It's government-based mind control. It's satanic ritual abuse mind control. They're making it look like, I mean, the government-based one, yes, that might have only been going on since sort of beginning of the last century, but the trauma-based mind control has been going on since time began, and the bloodlines go back to then. So it's been going a long while, but it's been hidden for a long while because they're secret societies, or societies of secrets. Nowadays they want everyone awake for whatever reason, and so therefore you're thinking, oh, we're awake, we're learning, but they're teaching you, and I'm trying to teach you the best I can to know the whole picture. Now, so when you're looking at deprogramming, and that's what really needs to be addressed, because I mean, everyone keeps trying to make it like into the mass programming, and yes, the masses are programmed, but the mind control programming, the government-based mind control, the trauma-based mind control, the MK Ultra mind control programming is heavy duty, and it's not about, like I said in last one, or push against it. It's a bit more involved, and that's why I wanted to make this video, to add on, because there is the accessing. So I just wanted to explain that there is networks, and you will be, if you're mind controlled, whether you know it or not, you will have a network around you. Now the other thing is, if you are from mind control, if you're mind controlled, you'll be surrounded by others that are mind controlled. I mean, I know that I was government based mind controlled, and I know that I'm surrounded by people that are mind controlled. And if I was to make a friend with someone who wasn't mind controlled, they would put a stop to that friendship. unless there was something they wanted from that friendship, I suppose. But no, they would put a stop because they keep it as a secret. So they allow you only to be surrounded by people that are programmed too. And therefore you all keep the secrets, because even though I could tell all my friends all the secrets, it still stays within the secrets. And it doesn't go to outsiders. And there's a lot of effort that goes into making sure that you don't stray, that you don't communicate with people outside the cult. And I suppose a lot of them weren't ready for the YouTube and the internet. I mean, not everyone knew it was coming. Of course, some did in high places, but not all. And so I want to say that, yes, we're connected throughout the world. Throughout the world we'll be connected. And we'll have handlers. And they don't get talking about much. But each mind-controlled slave, and that's what we are, slaves, have handlers. And we don't have just one handler, we can have different handlers for different things. And we also have timeshares, because people can buy little files in our brain and so forth, and hire us to do the tasks that they want done for free. Well, they pay, but we don't get anything. So you need to know who... I mean, you have all these people around you that you've grown up and you think, no, I just grew up, they're my friends. And they are your friends, maybe. But they're there to reinforce your programming, and they're there to report on you if you start going against your programming. So the programming is put in place. The handler doesn't need to watch you 24/7 because they've surrounded you with other people who will watch you 24/7, who will report if you're changing anything, or if programming is breaking down. So the programming is put in place to sort of seal in the way you behave, the way you conduct yourself. So if you don't speak in public, then you don't speak in public, and so forth. So if you then start waking up to what's going on and tell your friend that you know something, then the friend may, without even knowing, report to their handler that you are waking up to something, and then someone can come and make sure you don't wake up to it. Now, a lot of it is about, yes, it's traumatic memory that you don't want to remember, or find hard to remember, find hard to deal with the emotions of. But it's also that there's lots of work goes into blocking the pathways for them parts of you that have the memory to come to your awareness. So a lot of work goes into stopping you going down some roads in life and encouraging you to go down others. And this is done with the no speak as part of it. But as I said before, there's no speak, there's no hear, and there's no see. But I can only do one bit at a time. So with the to make you malleable, to make the human being malleable, they dehumanize us. They put us in boxes. I mean, I was put in a cage, and then when you make too much noise in the cage because you want to be noticed and they ignore you like you're nothing, then they put you in a box. I've drawn it elsewhere. I mean, you can go and have a look at my pictures. But they put you in a box, and then you won't be heard, you won't be seen, you'll be gone. And I mean, then I was brought out to be with monkeys. But everyone different programming. But they will put you in the boxes, they will put you in the cages to dehumanise you, totally ignore you, study you like you're a rat. And do this to you at a very young age. So you start learning to be grateful for anything. I mean, if you keep someone in a cage for hours on end and then you want them to do something, they're more likely to do it because they want anything, any form of interaction, because they don't interact with you when you're in a cage. So the same thing I see goes on the internet, and it's like with myself, there's a lot of hiding my posts and hiding me and making me look invisible, and this is all triggering to being in cages and so forth. And it's meant to be so that I feel, you know, that pain, and then I can't get on with my work. But because I've done quite a bit of deprogramming, quite a bit of healing, I sort of say, well, okay, you're going to hide me. What you're triggering is that memory, but I will heal that memory. I will heal it. Of course, it needs bravery to heal it, but I will heal that memory. I will acknowledge what you're doing. And once I've healed that part of me that went through that, then your ignoring me will not have any effect on me whatsoever, and I will just find other things to do with my time, which is what I do. So I don't spend much time on the internet nowadays, because what I did see going on was that game. I was trying to express what was for the people, and it's hidden and selected and da di da di da. So I know, right, I'll make a few videos because I want to, but I won't spend lots of time on the internet because it's not good for me or anyone really, and I have to find other things to do so that I don't feel like I'm being dehumanized, devalued, ignored, hidden, and all them things that would trigger that. And so those that have been programmed, very possible that you've been in boxes and cages too. Which my friend talks on the cages, as I've said, the book TikTok, Awareness of Satanic Abuse. So yes, it's to devalue you, to make you feel of no value and therefore grateful for crumbs. And when they throw you the crumbs, you will take them, is the plan. And then if you don't, they don't want you to go down an avenue, you don't get crumbs. And so they can steer you to where, with little crumbs, like a little bird following, the chicken following the peas or whatever. So in the Bible, though, I've come across, I've got Psalm 14:6. The wicked the wicked frustrate the plans of the oppressed, but the Lord will protect his people. So yes, they can frustrate my plans all they like, because yes, I'm oppressed, but I trust in the Lord, and I'm sure he will protect me, and he has protected me up to now for whatever reason, and so here I am. And another one I found was Romans 12:19. Beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, said the Lord. So yes, sometimes I do feel a little bit like I want to have vengeance, but I say, no, it has to go to the Lord. Let him deal with them how he wishes. And I think he is now, to be honest, because they were all comfortable, programming us and handling us all these years. And now it's all coming out. Well, if it's all coming out and we're all starting to wake up, we're going to see who the hell did us wrong, aren't we? And therefore you do see them picking their nails. Yes, you do. So let them go on and meet their maker. Got another one here, Psalm 119 to 134. I don't know how I've got that, but that's what it says. Redeem me from human oppression, that I may obey your precepts, which is follow the ways of the Lord. And Proverb 31:9, speak up, judge righteously, and defend the cause of the oppressed and needy. And this is it, because I could be, well, I'm not going to say anything, because what's the point? You're oppressing the hell out of me. But I think you have to choose when you speak and when you don't. And I decide I will speak up for the oppressed. I will speak up for those that have no voice. But I won't be talking twaddle, which some people would rather that I did, and encourage me to talk about things that are spinning nowhere. No, I'll talk about the core things that no one else seems to be talking about, and if I don't talk about it, well, then will it get talked about? So I will. So it's all about, they like to devalue. Now I have, and I'll put it on my website, I'll make a page with this video. I've got loads of links that I found on dehumanisation, because to begin with, when I started reliving the feelings and the experience, it was like I didn't even know how to define it, and then I found dehumanisation. I thought, oh, that fits me. Yes, that's what they did. Silencing, they treat you like you're nothing, so you're beneath them, patronising, condescending, and yes, often it's the same template. It's like they have templates on, a basic template on, what type of persons they want people to be. And then they can fit them templates with another. And in the end, you start seeing the same templates applied to myself, and you'd have ones applied to yourself that fit you. But there only seems to be a certain number of templates with variations. But it's interesting to start that now I realise I'm starting to recognise the templates, which is good. So Uh, so yeah, one of their techniques that they do is this: they'll tell you everything's great, you're wonderful, and then they'll break it down. So it's like you want someone to say something nice to you because you've been treated so badly. And so when they say, oh, that's great, you're already open and thinking they like that, they're your friend. But then after they've told you you're great, then they pick you to pieces. So this is one of their styles. And then what happens is you sort of selective in what you want to see them as, and if they isolate you enough, then you'll be happy for crumbs, won't you? But I'm trying to help you to see it, and once you see it, then we can look at how to get free. No easy task, but I'm trying. They have their silencing cues, like their finger over the mouth, and you see it everywhere. You see it at the bus stops, on the buses, everywhere. Everywhere people got their finger over their mouth, and so to you it's like, it doesn't matter. I know, it's okay. I know what it means. It means silencing, but it's not you that signal is coming out to. That signal is going to, if you're programmed, that signal is going to an altar inside that knows that they've seen horrific torture of some kind, and that signal used. So when that signal is seen, it triggers that altar to remember, open your mouth, and you remember what happens to those that open their mouths. So therefore you don't have necessarily recall of what that signal means, but inside do. Therefore it silences and keeps everything nicely packed in and the programming fixed as it is. It's like, really, you've got to try and break through firewalls inside yourselves, and fear keeps the firewalls in place. So just taser in and shocks and so forth, but yes, it's to keep it all in place. And so these signalling and cues are to lock it back in place, and people go around doing, oh, shush, shush, and they don't realise, but they're making that altar inside that's seen the horrific, that has experienced it so they didn't have to, that's making that altar remain silent and not tell you what they've seen, and therefore that part of you cannot heal if that part stays silent. So there's signals for silence. I saw the other day, because I was watching Louis Theroux, but I won't upload it because if I do, I've got told off by Twitter for putting up Total Recall film, because I'm quite good at finding the films, but if I put them up I'll get told no copyright. So I'll just say that Louis Theroux, I think he's really well, I find him funny, but people tell me he's not meant to be funny. He's just done a movie on Scientology which I found and watched, and it's very good. But I also found videos, and the reason I'm saying it's because they seem to use a lot of the silencing techniques. I found videos on there, I might put them on a list or on my page, showing you the Scientology techniques that they use to stop people communicating, really. It's a bit like neuro-linguistic programming, really, a bit, I think, because it's a way, and yeah, I'll get to that. So they treat you like children, invalidate your emotions and your ideas. So as well, it's like you could tell them your emotions, but instead of saying, oh, that must be very painful or that must be distressing, they'll bypass your emotions like they don't really matter. Or if you have ideas, they will, they won't give them the value that they deserve, or dismiss them. So minimise what you say. And you see, all these things as well, I tried using therapy to deprogram, but that was a bit of a joke. But I thought, well, let's try. But I saw that therapy doesn't actually work in deprogramming. It actually works to keep the programming in place, especially like Tavistock trained therapists, which is what I used, because it was like, oh, well, I know that they can be dirty, but let me use the best. Do you know what I mean? And let me see. But what I learned was, no, their techniques, whether they're aware of them or not, they may not be, actually serve to keep all the programming locked in. Because what I found is they minimise what I say, and rationalise it to be something other. So, I don't know, like I went to Portugal, I had a therapist, I went to Portugal, I got tasered stupid and God knows what else happened. I come back and shook all over the place. To begin with, it was like, oh, can you stop that? Well, I could, but that would mean having to suppress myself. And then it was like, well, after, I don't know, at the time it was like, oh yes, he accepted that things must have happened there. And then, I don't know, 6 months later it was like dismissed. Now whether they've been accessed to dismiss it or not, I'm not arguing that. But at the end of the day, my experience was a dismissal, a minimising of, oh no, that wasn't, it didn't happen. And so this is what I've learned, is that, you know, you can express what's happening. Like I'd get bruises and I'd say, oh, I've got bruises and must have been accessed. Oh, I don't believe you can just be accessed that way. And it's like, because it's not in their training, it don't happen, but it does happen. And you know, I'd be needle jabs in my arm, and it was like they stuck out, and it was like, oh, that's body memory. Anything, minimise it, dismiss it, just don't accept that it's happening now. And this is what I learnt with these therapists, is like they want to heal your past as if your programming was in your past, but nothing's happening now unless you remember it, unless you recall it. Well, what the hell did they, I mean, it cost millions to program us slaves. Why would they, you've got to think, why did they spend all that money to program us in our past, to just leave us to just plod along in life? No, it doesn't work like that. No. They programmed us in, they continue to use us for whatever they programmed us for, and they continue to keep that programming locked in so that it doesn't leak out. And so the therapy of just looking at your past, healing your past, it was just in your past, it's not happening. No, the bruise is now, something's happening now. I don't know what, I don't know whether I'm doing wrong, they're doing wrong, I don't know what's happening, but, and that's not, you know, you don't want to live with that for a start, but it's like, I have no idea what I do when I receive injections into my arm or bruises, you know. So it's like, no, they dismiss it and minimise it, and this is so common because they just want to make it look like it's trauma of the past. And there's also, I see, if they can blame it on the family, they will. So, you know, forever it was like, oh, it must have been your dad, must have been your dad. And my dad was a little bit of a pig, but no, he didn't traumatise me, in my memory, to that extent. He may have, but I report what happened in underground bases, what happened by doctors, what happened by professionals. But no, if they, what I've learned is if they can pin it on your family, then it's your family, and then we can just say, oh, it's traumatic upbringing, which it isn't. And yes, it can be, because there's the family aspect, but it's like, no, I won't go along with, you know, oh, it's all my dad's fault. He didn't have enough time to do all the programming, too busy with his life. Right, so yes, the minimising is important. They minimise what you say, they minimise your emotions, and imply that maybe you're unstable. I mean, everyone, oh, those mind control people. No, actually, we're surviving horrific, and to survive horrific, you ain't nothing. Do you get what I mean? You're actually a lot stronger than you ever believed. You're more clever than you ever believed. You're many things. Do you know what I mean? They don't, you have to have a very high IQ to be programmable. So it's like, this is all twisted, and they're twisting it now. And this is what I'm seeing. This is why I feel like try to speak, even if I don't get heard. It's because they're twisting people's minds to perceive what mind control is, and they're making it, minimising it. It's hypnosis in their head. No, my spine's deformed, right? You know, it's like my rib cage is deformed, my nervous system is whacked, yeah? And meanwhile, when I asked for neurologists and that to oh, they can't diagnose, but they all want to do their medical checks, because yes, it's all guinea pigs. Well, no. So, let me carry on. So, so they treat us like we're nothing, beneath them, patronise, condescend. I've said that bit, but it is a major part that I want to make clear. Now, yes, I've got here Proverbs 29:11. A fool lets fly with all his temper, but a wise person keeps it back. And it is hard to keep it back sometimes, you know, but you have to, because it's like I say, you've got your reporting orders, and if you go and report what you are aware of, that you've woken up to, then that will get reported on. So even though there's there's a push to speak because there'll be a program to go and report, to just say, to trust that person, to say what's going on. But as soon as you report it, they'll come and deal with that. So you have to, a fool will fly with their temper, because if you fly with your temper, then they can deal with you, can't they? And that's a lot of gang stalking to provoke, and they're triggering, but people don't realise. They think, oh, I'm gang stalked, I don't know why. Well, you're mind controlled too. If they're using triggers, then it's because you've been mind controlled previously, but they're not letting people think like that, so they're letting them all set in separate boxes. But they're using triggers on you. They're using triggers on you to make you maybe kick off. Do you get what I mean? To make you angry so that you react, and then they can go, ha, right, now we can arrest you for aggressive, and we can make you look aggressive in your community. When they're provoking. Do you know what I mean? And they'll use children. I've seen them use children even in that, because they'll just use mind-controlled children. Do you know what I mean? DID children, as they'd called them. Do you know what I mean? Throw stones at you or whatever, you know. Now, Proverbs 10:19, transgressions is at work where people talk too much, but anyone who holds his tongue is prudent. So yes, and it is, when someone's got so much to say, then you do think, you know what I mean, you're trying too hard. But yes, if you can hold your tongue, then that's prudence. But it's not always easy to hold your tongue. We know this. Now, so the isolation is done to make you feel hungry for anything, for an acknowledgement of yourself, to dehumanise you. The handlers fear that you're going to heal and recall focus goes on them, doesn't it? Because, you see, when they did all this programming, like I'm 55, so when they did my programming in the 60s, no, there was no internet, so they thought, we can do as we want to this little tiny child. We can treat them how we like. Do you know what I mean? Although they couldn't, they were under instruction, right? But it's like, still, they know what they've done, they know what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? And so they're terrified that if you, as an adult, do you know what I mean? And some of us, it's like, I ain't as weak as I was when I was 2, am I? So it's like, as an adult, they're a bit scared that you are going to wake up. So yes, they will do everything to try and stop you waking up in the areas that they don't, about them. Wake up on the other things, don't wake up on us. And Svarli, I've got a video on the other bit, but I'll join it somehow. Svarli, who I have got respect for, who deprogrammed years ago, she, on a video, talks about how, yes, they remove all your awareness of what you want, what you need. It's like it's destroyed in you. So, like, they do torture, like, I don't know, like the child always, every time she asked for food, they'd give her potato soaked in vinegar, and so then she'd throw up. So learn, don't ask, don't know your needs. So every time, I'm hungry, then they'd give her that, she'd throw up. Till she stopped asking, and then you get rewarded, then you'd get food if you stop asking. So that you rely on others to tell you what you want, tell you what you need. Now back to the box bit, you see, then they can tell you when to speak and tell you when not to speak. Well, I'm speaking. Yeah, what they did was done in secret. They didn't know. Yeah, I said that. And then it's about, keep it from your awareness, hide you, because they make so much effort to isolate. Not all of us. Some of us know, because some of us have to go out and get the information, so some of us can talk. But a lot are isolated, kept in isolation. People don't even realise they're in isolation, because it's learned over the years. You've been programmed to be invisible in that as well. But it is to make an effort to isolate people, because then you're more dependent on the outsider, like Svarli says, like the training says. Then you're dependent on the few people that they put around your life to be your friend, that you've had forever, and they're programmed to, and they'll be in a similar sort of construct. And this is how the matrix fits together. And then you see, they can do things that can trigger you to go and hide within yourself. So because you learn as well the safety of your cage. Go back in your cage, and you won't get picked on and bullied. I mean, yeah, I used to, get loads of humiliation and all that from my family, but it's not my family's, humiliation wouldn't be enough to split a person. They were just reinforcing what the programmers had told them to reinforce. They will give, the programmers will give the family a script that they have to use. The family ain't aware. I mean, my family, no way did my parents know that I was being programmed. No way. No way, because my dad was such a teaser, such a humiliator. He would glee in telling you that he could do them things and show someone, and he didn't. So he didn't know what he's doing, but he obviously, generational stuff, he had different personalities too. So he'd have an alter that would be instructed by someone higher than him, and then he would do what they said, and therefore it's like as well, because they put me with psychiatrist age 2, then the psychiatrist would tell them how to raise me, and then they were just ordinary working class people in a sense. So it's like, well, we have to do what the psychiatrist tells us to do. So he told us, leave her alone, just ignore her. So that's what we'll do. So, they could have guilt for it, but it's like, no, I don't want to give them the guilt, because they were doing what they were told to do, what the superiors, what they knew best. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and then they get the blame. Nice one. So yes, they'll do things to trigger you to go back into yourself, and so you end up in this like cycle as well, because then you'll come out of the cage and you'll try to interact, and then you'll be ridiculed, minimalised and all that. So you go back in your cage. So you're just going like this. So they just choose when they open the cage and when they shut the cage. Like, it's like, I'll get hits on this video for X amount of time, and then whenever enough, they'll stop the hits and I'll get 2 a day, or maybe none. But normally 2 or 3 a day I get on things. But I'm sure there's more than 2 or 3 a day watching. But when they're ready, when they think I'm going to play their game, then they'll let me have loads of hits. But because I don't really play the games, I don't get many hits, you see. But hits don't make prizes, hits make nothing, you know what I mean? So it's like, who cares about your hits? It's nice to get feedback. So to break this loop, break that, you need to become aware. So it's like, no, you can talk all you like, but if you don't heal, if you don't become aware of what's gone on, and the only way you're going to heal is if you have inside tell you what's gone on, if you connect to saying, you know what, this feeling is not to do with now, not to do with my parents, it goes even deeper. And if you are not willing to look at that, or not in a position to look at that, because they will forever give you something other to do, to focus yourself on, so that you won't look at them things, you see. So if they're aware that you're trying to look at them things, then they'll get you busy, give you things to distract you, so that you don't. So you have to make a conscious effort to say, you know what, end of. I'm going to look at my past, I'm going to look at my other parts of me, connect with them feelings, no matter how painful they are. And of course they're going to be painful. They're like 2-year-old, 1-year-old horrific feelings. So, but once you connect with them, once you release them, once that part of you can tell you why they're feeling that way, then the healing can occur. And then when they come opening and shutting your lids, it's like, go away with your opening and shutting lids. Do you know what I mean? Don't need you. So then you can call the shots. So there's reporting alters, they're called reporting alters, and they'll be at each level, because they'll be, like in programming as well, what I see is, it's done at all different, it's like done at many levels, but what they do in therapy is they'll heal the top level. So if they had a bad family, satanic family or something, they heal that, stabilise the client, and that's what they're working towards, is stabilise them. Well, all you're doing is packing in the programming nice and neat, and it's like, there you go, you're all alright now, you've healed from your traumatic past, just get on with life. But really you're not getting on with life. They're not getting on with life, those clients, because they're still being accessed, they're still being used. But it's like as if they don't want to take that on, the Tavistock therapist. No, they want it just to be, oh, you just heal your past, and nothing's happening now, and there's no access in now, and it's not as bad as we all think it is, and that's that. But it is. So you'll have reporting alters at different levels. So if you have got a family, if you come from a generational family, which just if your bloodline, you're going to come from it. Then you're going to have a family that behaves like in a culty sort of way, because they do, you know, with the silencing, with the shut-ups, with the blah, blah, blah. So within the family you'll have a handler who you report to, or you report to someone who reports to them, but there'll be a family connection. Then there'll be like a government connection. If you're government-based mind control, then they are not going to leave that to the family. They handle the family. They're going to have access to you. You're going to need to report to them, but you won't be aware that you do these things at all. And then you also have like a Masonic handler, very likely. Do you know what I mean? Who again you'd have to report to, and as well, all three can access you somehow with some cue that they can gain access with you. Now then you sort of, to get away from them, to break free, you need to sort of cut off all their ways of accessing you. So no longer have your phone plugged in. See, it don't ring now when I make videos because I just unplug it. So unplug your phone, switch your phone off, switch the internet off. These sort of things you have to do to start seeing who's who is in your world, who are you surrounded by, because it all looks nice and dandy. They've packaged it like, there you go, there's your life. So, but you're reporting on different levels. So you won't have friends that ain't cold. I don't care, and I'll say that to my friends, and if they can't accept it, well then they can't accept it. But it's like, the way I've got through that bit is like, well, you know, I'm telling you I know you're cold, whether you want to accept you are or not. It's up to you. And they sort of semi-do, but they may not be ready yet. So it's like, oh, we're not ready to look at all that, Lou. But sometimes they do, and they have to accept that I will explain their, you know, problems in their life, with bearing in mind that, you know, they'll be programmed. So that's the nature of being my friend. But it's not all horrible, you know. But yes, I think when people want to know their truth, they all come to want to see me. But when they don't want to know the truth, it makes them avoid me, because it's, oh no, they don't handle my truth. And of course I'm programmed not to talk twaddle. Do you know what I mean? I just talk real. Yeah, they'll show no compassion, because they do. They disassociate us. I mean, they just make the alters by splitting us to make us disassociate from them pains. So what happens is we disassociate from our emotions, in a sense. And even though we might have a small range, we won't have the whole range of emotions. So you might find that you've got emotions missing in your life. I mean, for years I wouldn't really get angry with anything, because it's like, no, it's been programmed not to get angry. There'll be a punishment for being angry. So you just don't be angry, and therefore the alter that has the anger is kept separate. And if it comes near, then one would feel overwhelmed with anger and wouldn't know what to do with it. And then that'd get reported, you see, and then they know, that alter's coming near, we better do some more programming on that. So there's no compassion, and they just take what they want from you. Pick a mix in it, and devalue, hide you, and then that's all walled off. Set a guard over my mouth, Lord. Keep watch over the doors of my lips. Psalm 141.3. And it is, you know, and I ask that now because I'd, you know, being brave and telling you all these things, and I don't know my consequences of me behaving like this, but I feel, well, you know, someone's got to speak. Someone's got to speak, so here I go. A time to keep silent and a time to speak. Ecclesiastes 3:7, which I had before. And as we know, we've got all the dollies and all the toys, and on the telly, the Miffies and all that with no mouths. So that's all, you see, your children are being programmed by watching the telly. If you start looking at the telly, you know, you've got Peppa Pig that looks like Penis Pig. Do you know what I mean? And oh yeah, let's get our children Peppa Pig. You know what I mean? You've got to look, because they use, what they'll do is use these images, cartoon characters, whatever, in programming, and then it'll be in this deep water again, like the finger pointing is in the, you know, with some horrific torture. The child is associated with Peppa Pissing Pig, and then Pig comes on the telly, the child just watches Peppa Pig, likes Peppa Pig, but inside, no, shut your mouth on that, don't talk about that, don't, you know what I mean, that's all traumatic. And if you try to explain to your parents age 2, I don't think they're going to understand, because you're not going to be able to even articulate age 2 what went on at nursery today. Well, when you was meant to be at nursery, but you didn't go to nursery, because yes, I was in nursery from 1, but I don't think I was in nursery, to be honest. You know, I remember sleeping on a little bed, and that's it. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Isaiah 35.5. I know that's ears and eyes, and I haven't dealt with ears and eyes yet, but I suppose it's coming. I keep reading that one, and yes, I mean it is, we've got selective hearing, but I'll get to hearing and seeing. We're dealing with speech at the moment. So last one was about how to break it, this time is about how to shut our mouths, because we don't want to be reporting, we don't want to be speaking when we're just told to speak. And the only way you're going to find them things out as well is, like I said in the other one, is speak when they, you know, when there's a pressure for you not to say things, push yourself. But also, if there's a pressure to say, or if it's too easy to say, try practicing silence. I mean, for some people, it's so hard to be in silence. It's like there, not silence. Can't bear it. So, therefore, it's like learning how to deal with silence. Be with silence, sit in silence, not meditate, sit in silence and see what you feel. And if it feels uncomfortable, and start writing down why it feels uncomfortable. What is it about silence that you don't like? This is how you get in there. But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile the man. Matthew 15:18. And it is. And it's like, you know, we can mess ourselves up with what comes out our mouth. And we have to try and get control over our mouth. And so it is being aware of, you know, that it has been controlled, it is being controlled, and to try and take back the control on it. Silencing in mind control to prevent recall, or will heal the pathways and recall. So yes, because the pathways, as I say between the angry alter and the happy alters, there'll be neuro pathways in the brain that have been walled off with a trauma, and maybe even an electric shock. Well, yeah, electric shock. So if you start healing, you start breaking away that, melting that wall, plus making new connections, and they don't like that. It's like whenever I go swimming, then there's an effort to stop me swimming, break my arms or whatever, so that I can't do this right, left, joining the new, I know what's going on, but it's like I can't swim in a plaster cast. And yes, I've had a few breaks in the last couple of years. So, you know, then you've got different words that they'll use, like shush and shut up, signal no speak, but, you know, could be anything, you know, some people just, you know, I've done that, loose lips sink ships. We had that written on our mirror once. It's what Peggy Mitchell said on EastEnders. I think it was, or it might have been the other one with blonde hair. No, it's on EastEnders anyway. Someone said loose lips sink ships, and we thought that was brilliant. So it used to be stuck on the mirror, and when they used to come, social services and that, to harass police or whatever, we'd see it there and go, yeah, shut our mouths, loose lips sink ships. And then yes, they'll use taser and the beam to shut my mouth. The other day when I got burnt on my mouth, I suppose I'd said too much. That was after I did the no speak. But who knows what the beam's for? It might have been just to say, we've done a beam, we want you to talk on electrics. I don't know. But they'll do these things. There'll be parts of me that do know. But it's about, yeah, they're probably scared to say, in case they get another beam or tasered. I can't see. Terrible eyesight. Well, it's not always terrible. Disconnect from the matrix. See what occurs when you're silent. there is. It's like, come away, you know, if you want to see what's around you, the only way you're going to know is disconnect from everything and see what happens. Watch what happens when you go quiet. You don't have to quiet forever, just see what happens, you know, do a week, do a month. See what happens. You'll be surprised. And then you'll see who your handlers are. And you'll have handlers. You'll have people that you report to. You'll have, what they call them, reinforcers. Enforcers. So different players in the game to make sure that everything stays in place. And the way the world is structured is everyone's keeping everyone else in place. And the outsiders to it haven't really got the power, because the powers that be have got the power, and then they use the puppets like us to keep everything for them, you see. So that's that. Solutions: heal the pain. So it is about going into them feelings, like if you sat there in silence and then, you know, pain started coming up from within, stay with it and let that pain out, let the feeling come out. It may not have words to begin with, but just let it through, keep letting it through. And, you know, people see in therapy, oh no, don't dig up the past. No, do dig up the past, do. Because it gives you an understanding of yourself now, and it's the only way you're going to stop them being able to access you, and you being reporting to them and doing whatever they want you to do, being their puppet. So accept your program. You know, I mean, people go in and out, they accept the program, then they deny it, then they go in, and it's understandable because they've also programmed us to deny it, to look at any excuse, same as the therapist, look at any other reason, just justify it through other means. Do you know what I mean? Oh, it wasn't that, let's justify it through the means that we give you to justify through. No, don't. Just say, okay, program, right, now, what, you know, come forward. You know, you have to break the denial and see what is. Step back and watch, step forward and watch. It's like, if you say things, blah, 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 what happens? If you don't say things, blah, 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 or shushed, what happens? So see the responses of people. Just watch. It's about watching, stepping back. Do you know what I mean? And watching. Mind control what you see. You understand. Don't know what I meant by that. It's all about your time and energy. That's what they want. They're using you. You're like a little battery, little Duracell. Yeah, you've got so much energy and you've got so much time. Actually, you've got 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, 365 days. Same for everyone. And therefore, if they can take your time and use it for their aims, that's cool, isn't it? And if they've created you to work for their aims, that's cool, isn't it, for them? And then you've only got so much energy. So if you spend your energy doing for them, you won't be spending your energy doing for you. And this is why, yes, I have to switch off so that I'm with me and not being, oh, but Lou, can we do this, can we do that? Because then I get dragged into things that may not be the best things for me to do with my time and energy. Well, I hope that's helped in explaining how silencing works in programming. And yes, thanks for listening, and say goodbye for now. Bye bye.